Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurinmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. I offer my humble respects to all the devotees who have assembled today for this special session on the shlokas of Mukunda Stotra. This Mukunda Stotra is a very, very special book, set of prayers written by Tulashekar Alvar, and Srila Prabhupada has translated this book to some degree. Few verses he has translated and commented, and later his disciples took it forward and completed the translation of this whole book. So this Mukunda Stotra is a very, very special book, very close to the heart of several Vaishnavas. And Prabhupada also quotes some shlokas from Mukunda Stotra in his works. And also Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted the prayers from Mukunda Stotra during the Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra. You find this description in the Rath Yatra episode, 13th chapter of the Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, and the nature of all these shlokas in Mukunda Stotra is very sweet, very nectarian, very easy to understand, very simple language, and very lucid, and they are not very technical. Sometimes we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, some prayers are quite technical, where the devotees praise the Lord as the creator, maintainer, destroyer. Some universal form descriptions come. Okay. There's a purpose. When we are discussing Bhagavatam, we can do all that. But in Mukunda Stotra, we see most of the prayers are very simple devotional expressions, longings, desires, and appreciation for the Lord's attributes, His qualities, His names, His pastimes, and chanting of the holy names of the Lord in various ways. So these simple expressions and yet profound expressions of devotion really inspire the hearts of all the readers of Mukunda Stotra. So it's our great fortune that we are sparing a couple of days to discuss some selected prayers. There are more than 50 shlokas in this Mukunda Stotra, total 53. So I have selected few of them. Not sure if I will be able to cover even those few also, but I'm not in a mood of just rushing through the prayers and then covering certain number of shlokas in these two sessions, but we will just discuss, right? So whatever comes to my mind, I don't know what I'm going to speak now. So I'll read the shloka and describe the meaning, and whatever comes to my mind, I'll just share. So let us begin. So we'll discuss with the first shloka. You are able to hear me clearly? Is that clear?
Yes, Prabhu. The audio can become a little better, I think.
Okay, just give me
Louder.
1 second.
Yeah. हरे कृष्णा, जिनको हिंदी रूम चाहिए कृपया ब्रेकआउट रूम में लॉग इन में ज्वाइन हुए.
Hare Krishna. Because the fan is dominating my voice, I reduced it. I hope you'll find it better now.
Okay.
So I'll show the shlokas on the screen. So you're able to see the screen. So first shloka of Mukunda Stotra. Shri Vallabheti Varadeti Daya Pareti Bhakta Priyeti Bhavalunthana Videti Natheti Nagashayane Jagan Nivasye Tyalapinam Pratidinam Kurumam Mukunda Shri Vallabheti Varadeti Daya Pareti. Here Kulashekar Alvar is beginning his description of the Lord's glories with a simple yet beautiful prayer, where he chants several holy names of the Lord. Shri Vallabheti means the Supreme Lord is very dear to Shri Lakshmi Devi. Varadeti, he is the bestower of all benedictions. So Vara means boon, Varada means one who gives boons. One of the names of Lord Vishnu is Varada. In the South India, if you go to Kanchipuram, there is a deity called Varadaraj. He constantly bestows benediction upon his devotees. So, Varan Vibhotvad Varadeshwarad Buddha Katham Vriniti Gunavikriyatmanam. Even Prithu Maharaj also offers this prayer to Lord Vishnu in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, Varan Vibhotvad Varadeshwarad Buddha. Means you are Varadeshwara, you are the best of all bestowers of benedictions. Sometimes when people worship different devatas, the devatas also offer benedictions. Indra, Chandra, Shiva, Brahma, they all offer benedictions to their worshippers. Brahma offered some benedictions to Hiranyakashipu, right? And Shiva also offers benedictions to some other demons. Vrkasur, he offered benedictions, right? Indra offers benedictions, Varuna offers benedictions. So like that, different devatas are worshipped for different purposes by different worshippers. They offer boons. But the Supreme Lord Vishnu or Krishna is Varadeshwara, means best of all benedictors. So Varadeti, Dayapareti. So to give Vara, to give a benediction, one needs mercy. Dayapara. You are causelessly merciful, O Lord. So the greatest Vara or benediction that a devotee can receive from the Lord is pure, unalloyed love for Krishna. So the greatest aspiration of a devotee is to love the Lord. That's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Prema Pumartho Mahan. So Prema, love, is the aspiration of a devotee. The ultimate goal, Prayojana, is to develop love for the Lord. So that's the greatest benediction that the Lord can give. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given that benediction. So Varada is one of the names of the Lord, and he's Dayapareti, he's causelessly merciful. Bhakta Priyeti, he's very dear to his devotees, and his devotees are very dear to him. Both ways. Bhakta Priyeti. Bhavalunthana Kovideti. Bhavalunthana means he's expert in plundering this bhava, repeated cycle of birth and death. So Lunthana means to steal, to plunder. Bhava means the material existence or the repeated cycle of birth and death. Bhavalunthana means the Lord is expert in, Kovida means expert. The Lord is expert in plundering this process of repeated birth and death. Basically, he will liberate us from this process of repeated cycle of birth and death, transmigration from one body to another body, one species to another species. So that is the Lord's mercy. Then Natheti, oh Natha, you are the Supreme Lord, you are the Master, you are the husband. Naga Shayaneti, the Lord lies down on a serpent bed. Naga is serpent, Anantasesha. Jagannivaseti, all the Jagats, all the Brahmandas, all the great universes stay within his belly, right? Alapinam pratidinam kurumam mukunda. So let me do alapa. Alapa means to sing, to recite. Let me be a constant reciter of your names. So here Kulashekar Alvar is chanting so many names of the Lord and glorifying the Lord and his qualities in various ways. And at the end he says, my aspiration is to constantly chant the holy names of the Lord. Let me glorify him. Let me recite his glories on a daily basis. Right? Gurumam Mukunda, always. Next. जयतु देवो देवकी नंदनोऽयं जयतु कृष्णो वृष्णिवंशप्रदीपः जयतु मेघश्यामलः कोमलांगो जयतु पृथ्वी भारनाशो मुकुन्दः जयतु देवो देवकी नंदनोऽयं. He says all glories to Devaki Nandana Krishna. Jayatu Krishna Vrishni Vamsha Pradipaha. All glories to Krishna who appeared in this Vrishni dynasty. Jayatu Meghashyamalaha Komalango. The Lord's body is blackish in color. Meghashyamala. Komalango means very soft body, very delicate limbs. So he's glorifying the form of the Lord. Jayatu Prithvi Bharanasho Mukundaha. So he removes the burden of earth. Prithvi means earth, Bhara means burden of earth. So the burden of earth is not the mountains or the rivers or the oceans or the people or the animals or elephants that stay on her surface. The real burden of earth is the demoniac propensities that people might have. The propensities to exploit people, trouble people, sinful tendencies, offensive attitudes. This is the real burden. Speaking lies. So this is the real burden for people, for Mother Earth to bear. So the Lord descends to remove the burden of the earth. What does the Lord do when he descends? Paritranaya sadhuna. He protects common people, means good people. Vinashaya dushkrita. He destroys demoniac people. And dharma samsthapana. He establishes dharma. So in this way, he removes the burden of earth. Jayatu prithvi bharanasho mukundaha. So Mukundamala Stotra shlokas are very simple in their Sanskrit and simple in expression and very easy to understand. So next, one more shloka we will take. 10th shloka. I am not taking all shlokas sequentially, but I just selected a few of them. माभिर्मन्दमनो विचिन्त्य बहुधा यामिश्चिरं यातना नैवामी प्रभवन्ति पापरिपवः स्वामी ननु श्रीधरः आलस्यं व्यपनीय भक्तिसुलभं ध्यायस्व नारायणम् लोकस्य व्यसनापनोदनकरो ध्याय दासस्य किं न क्षमः माभिर्मन्द मनो विचिन्त्य बहुधा यामिश्चिरं यातना. So here Kulashekar Alvar says that, oh mind, oh foolish mind, mandamano means foolish mind, stop fearing. Vichintya bahudha yamis-chiram yatana. There is Yamaraj, who is the Lord of Death, who takes away the sinful souls to Yamaloka and gives them punishments. Right? So the super soul witnesses all our activities which we do in a lifetime. And super soul maintains a full record. He doesn't forget anything. He has unlimited memory. You can't even measure it, how many GBs or how many TBs. Okay, he has unlimited memory to store every single living being's thought and activity. All thoughts, all activities are recorded eternally. So then he will send an SMS or an email or a WhatsApp message to Yamaraj. Okay, this fellow has done these things. We should punish him in this way, right? And throw him in these bushes. So super soul is the judge, and Yamaraj is the executor of the judgment. Fine. So one who is a devotee of the Lord need not go to Yamalok. Oh, foolish mind, stop your fears about the torments imposed by Yamaraj. Many people have some fear of hell. They may commit they may perform some pious activities, they may avoid some sinful activities. Not that they don't have taste for sinful activities, but they have some fear of hell. At least that is good to some degree. So, but devotees need not fear hell. They don't have to enter hell. Naivami prabhavanti papa ripavaha swami nanu sridharaha. How can your enemies of sinful reactions even touch you? After all, your master is Sridhara. Swami nanu Sridhara. Your Swami, your master is Sridhara. Papa ripavaha. The sinful reactions, the enemies of your sinful reactions cannot influence you. Naivami prabhavanti. So, a devotee, just by performing devotional service unto the Lord sincerely, he can get rid of all sinful reactions. Right? So, there is this shloka from the Brahma Samhita. Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. All karmas are burnt to ashes, right? All the karmic reactions, sinful reactions are burnt to ashes by taking to the path of bhakti. So we don't have to fear sinful reactions or entrance into hell. Alasyam vyapaniya bhakti sulabham dhyayasva narayanam. So cast aside all hesitation and concentrate your thoughts on Narayanam. Dhyayasva Narayanam. Your responsibility is to meditate on Narayana. Okay. Alasyam yapaniya. Don't do any alasyam. Don't hesitate. Don't delay. Okay. So it's very bhakti sulabham. Very important word here. Bhakti sulabham means the Lord is very easily attained by bhakti. So, bhaktyamam abhijanati. If one performs bhakti, what is bhakti? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Pardasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasam, Sakyam, Arthanivedanam. These are the 9 processes of bhakti. If one performs these processes of bhakti with dedication, with devotion, exclusively, then the Lord will protect the person, right? So that is called bhakti sulabham. The Lord is easily attainable to such a sincere devotee. So, instead of hesitating or procrastinating, better concentrate your mind on the Lord. Do dhyayasva narayanam. Then the Lord will show mercy because he is bhakti sulabham. Lokasya vyapanapanodana karo dasasya kim nakshamaha. So, the Lord is the dispeller of all troubles of all people in this world. That's why in Bhagavatam it is said that Namo Namaha Klesha Vinashanaya Nirupito Dharaguna Vayaya. Namo Namaha Klesha Vinashanaya. The Lord is known to destroy all the kleshas or the miseries of his devotees. One of the names of the Lord Hari is Hari. Hari means one who steals. Okay. So what does he steal? He steals the difficulties of his devotees. He steals the anarthas of his devotees. So he is also called Harimedhasa. So Hari is a thief. Harimedhasa means one who is constantly contemplating how to steal. Okay. One who is constantly thinking, how can I rob him? How can I loot him? Similarly, the Lord also is constantly thinking. He's Harimedhasa. He's constantly thinking, how can I reduce the burden of the sinful reactions of my devotees? How can I relieve them from all material miseries? He's constantly thinking like that. So that's why when such a Lord who is there to protect you, why are you fearing hell? That's the last thing, that should be the last thing in your mind. Trust Krishna. Have trust in Krishna's protection. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. So the Lord takes care of all his devotees. He provides whatever they need and he preserves whatever they have. Right? He's the provider and he's the protector also. So when such a Lord is there with us, why should we at all fear? So next shloka. Krishna to ye madana pavano dhutamohor vimale dara varte tanaya sahaja graha sandha kulecha Samsarakhe mahati jaladhau majjatam nastridhamam padam bhoje varada bhavato bhakti navam prayacha. So Trishna to ye madana pavano bhuta mohor vinali. So here Trishna means hanker. What does a conditioned soul hanker for? Conditioned soul constantly hankers to attain sense gratification. Okay, to enjoy an essential pain. That is the hankering of a average conditioned soul. That keeps him in samsara. Trishna to ye madana pavano dhuta mohor vimale. This samsara, this material existence is filled with waters of Trishna, material hankerings. And it is also filled with winds of lust. Madana pavana. Pavana means wind. Madana means Cupid. Cupid makes us stupid. Okay. So that Madana pavana, the waves of Cupid are constantly overwhelming this ocean. So ocean itself is dangerous. When that ocean waves are accompanied by fierce winds, what will happen to the person who is drowning in the ocean? Is there any possibility for him to come out? Okay. So the material world is compared to ocean, and lust is compared to winds. Mohor mimale. There are so many urmis. Urmi means waves. What is the urmi? Moha, illusion. So mala means so many. Mala is a garland that has so many flowers, right? So samsara is compared with ocean, and it's filled with the waters of material hankering and the winds of lust and waves of illusion. Every now and then we get illusion. Every now and then we get bewildered, distracted, deviated, demotivated, discouraged, depressed, dejected, commit suicide. So many things happen out of illusion, out of ignorance. So, Dharavarte Tanaya Sahaja Graha Sangha Kulecha. So, whirlpools of waves, Dharavarte, Avarta, waves are there. Waves, okay. So, for a materialistic person, the spouse is a whirlpool, right? So, and other things like family members and all, they are like sea monsters, sharks. See, this shloka is not encouraging one to be neglectful towards one's own family members. That's not the import of this shloka. But if we connect with family members and friends and the society without Krishna in the center, that kind of materialistic association with materialistic people will keep us in the material world, in the material ocean. That's the whole point. Right? This is no criticism of social life or family life, by the way. So next, samsarakhe mahati jaladhau majjatam nastridhamam. We are drowning in this vast ocean of samsara. Oh Lord, oh protector of all the three worlds. Padam bhoje varada bhavato bhakti navam prayacha. So please grant me a place on the boat of devotion at your lotus feet. So when somebody is drowning in this ocean, like his swimming capacity cannot protect him. Only a boat can protect. So you don't know where to go, which direction to swim. Even if you're an expert swimmer, how long can we swim? Ocean is so deep, several miles deep, hundreds and thousands of kilometers, miles wide. How long can a person swim without food? So swimming, expert swimmer cannot cross the material ocean. Only a boat can help one cross the material ocean. And that boat is bhakti. Bhakti navam prayacha. Oh Lord, please take me into the boat of your devotional service and protect me from this samsara. That is the prayer. So I am caught up in so many material desires and material activities and material relationships. Please establish me as your eternal servant and place me in the boat of your devotional service. Next shloka. Prithvi renu renu payamshi kanika falguspulingo laghu tejo nishvasanam maruttanutaram randharam susukshmam nabha Kshudra rudra pitamaha prabhrtayah kitaha samastah sura drishte yatra satarako vijayate shripada dhuli kana. Prithvi Renuranupayamsi Kanika Falgus Pulling Holagu. So whole earth becomes a speck of dust. Now, if someone takes shelter of the holy name of the Lord, if someone takes shelter of the whole process of bhakti, if someone is under the protection of the Supreme Lord as a devotee, for such a person, any exciting thing in this entire material world is insignificant. So a devotee doesn't get excited with anything material. So that's the whole import of this shloka. Let's get into the details. Prithvi Renur Anuhu Payamsi Kanikaha. Entire earth looks like a speck of dust. All the waters of the oceans are like mere droplets. Totality of fire is like a minute spark. Winds are like just a faint sight. Okay. Then expanse of the space is tiny hole. Now you see, interestingly, earth, water, fire, air, ether. This material world is made of these 5 material elements. And all the sense objects are also manifestations of these 5 elements. The sense objects are made of some combinations of these 5 material elements. And all the sense objects manifested by these 5 material elements are insignificant to it. Right? That's the importance of this shloka. That's what he's saying. Earth is a speck of dust. Waters, ocean waters, mere droplets, like that. Rudra and grandfather Brahma become insignificant. Means the positions of great devatas are also insignificant. And other devatas become very insignificant, like insects. So, once our savior has been seen, means once when someone comes in contact with Krishna, everything else becomes insignificant. Because even one particle of dust from the Lord's lotus feet can conquer everything. One is not excited with any amount of material enjoyment. Fine. Or material positions. Nathena purushottame trijagatam ekadhipe chetasam sevye svasya padasya datari pare narayane tishtati yam kanchit purushadhamam katipaya grameshamalparthadam sevayai mrugaya mahena ramaho mudhavaraka vayam Nathena purushottame trichakata ekadhipe chetasa. So this shloka is another interesting one. So our master Narayana, who alone rules the 3 worlds. See, Nathena purushottame trijagatam eka adhipe. Trijagata means 3 worlds. Ekadhipe means he is the one and only ruler or the boss of all the 3 worlds, of the entire universe. Sevye svasya padasya datari pare narayane tishtati. So one can serve that Lord in meditation. Sevye svasya padasya datari pare. When you meditate on the Lord accepts it as your service. And one can happily serve the Lord in his personal domain also. Okay. Means you can physically serve the Lord, you can mentally serve the Lord. The Lord accepts all kinds of services. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there's a beautiful story. Once there's a poor Brahmana, so he did not have sufficient resources to serve the Lord. So he starts serving the Lord and offering all kinds of expensive paraphernalia to the Lord with his mind only. One day he was cooking sweet rice for the Lord. So after cooking sweet rice in his meditation, he mixed sugar and milk and rice and then boiled it nicely to the right temperature. So he just wanted to understand whether it is cold enough for the Lord to eat or not. He touched it and then his hand got burned because it's very hot. So, and when he came out of the meditation, he actually saw burns on his hand. Seeing his meditation, seeing his absorption in meditation, even the Supreme Lord, Vishnu in Vaikuntha, started laughing. He was laughing at him. So, anyways, so one can meditate on the Lord, one can serve the Lord. So yet, let us still, although you can serve the Lord and the Lord can give you position in his personal domain in the Vaikuntha, out of misfortune, out of ignorance, one might serve some small people in this world. Yet, we still beg for service of some minor lords of a few villages. So, how foolish we are. So, basically, here the devotee is saying that when somebody needs something, and if that person has access to a very wealthy person who can provide anything he wants, he should be intelligent enough to take that benefit. But if he goes to some simple people who cannot provide anything to him, what's the point? So he has a problem. You go to a person who has the capacity to solve your problem, not to anybody who does not have the capacity to solve the problem. So you have a potency, you have a potential to serve the Lord lovingly and receive all benedictions from him and receive spiritual bliss in his spiritual kingdom. Why one has to stick to some materialistic benedictions in the material world? That's what our Kulashekar Alvar says. So, just a second. So here the Lord says, Kulashekar Alvar says that better go to the Lord, even if somebody has some material desires also in the purpose, we see these points. Even if somebody has some material desires, still better to go to the Lord, not to anyone else. So, akamaha sarvakamo va mokshakama udaradhihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purushah param. Whether you have desires or no desires, or you are specifically desiring liberation, better worship the Supreme Lord Krishna. No, don't go to anyone else. Okay. But sometimes people go to some devatas to fulfill their material desires. Even if you have material desires, better go to the Lord. Actually, it's not a recommendation that we worship the Lord with material desires. I have some problem, can you please solve it? It's like going to the mother and saying, Mother, can you give me breakfast today? With a burger. And mother is saying, I'm cooking for you only. You can't go to Father. Father, will you allow me to sleep tonight in your house? Okay. No, this whole house is yours. Wherever you want to sleep. Like by default, parents are very happy and willing to provide all the facilities they can to their children. Children need not specifically ask for it. It's their right, right? Sometimes when the mother cooks something and the child doesn't like, shout, demand, because that relationship is there. So similarly, we all have a relationship with the Supreme Lord, eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. We can take spiritual bliss from him. Just like a child asking the parents to feed breakfast, begging, is so awkward. Similarly, a conditioned soul, a devotee going to the Lord and asking for some petty material benedictions. Can you give me one car? Can you give me one bangla? Can you make me Indra? Can you make me Brahma? These are all insignificant desires. Can you please give me service to your devotees? Can you please give me an opportunity to associate with your devotees? These are worthy benedictions. Car bangla are not worthy benedictions. Okay, so we need to understand what is of good value. So in ignorance, we ignore what is beneficial for us and we embrace what is harmful to us. That is the nature of ignorance in this material. Okay. So, anyways, next sloka. Yat Krishna pranipata dhuli dhavalam tadvarshma tadvaishirah te netre tamasodhite suruchire yabhyam harir drishyate sa buddhir vimalendu shankha dhavala ya madhavadhyayini sa jihvamrita varshini pratipadam ya stauti narayanam. This is another sweet shloka. Here, Kulashekar Alvar says how to attain perfection of your senses. Right? We have senses, like we have eyes and we have hands and we have legs and we have nose, we have ears. So the perfect utility of these senses is to engage them in Krishna's seva. That's how we should use the senses, right? So he says, Yat Krishna pranipata dhuli dhavalam tadvarshma tadvaishira. That head that bows down in front of the lotus feet of the Lord, and if by the touch of Krishna's dust from Krishna's lotus feet makes the head whitish, that head is the best head. Right? Yat Krishna pranipata dhuli dhavalam tadvarshma tadvaishira te netre tamaso jhite suruchire yabhyam harir drishyate. I'll show the sloka. So he says, te netre tamaso jhite suruchire yabhyam harir drishyate. Those eyes are most beautiful and perfect eyes if they can see the form of Lord Hari. Harir drishyate, right? So we have to abandon darkness and expose our eyes to the brightness of the effulgent form of Lord Hari. So if you are not seeing the effulgent form of Lord Hari, whatever we are seeing in this world is like darkness only. Somebody is seeing the beauty of some sculpture, or some garden, or some flower, or the beauty of the opposite gender. So people may get enamored by this beauty, they may get attracted to this beauty, but actually they are not seeing anything. They are seeing darkness only, right, in one sense. So the real object of eyes is Krishna's beauty. Akshanvatam phalabidam naparam vidamaha. All the gopis of Vrindavan say this in the Venugita, very first shloka of Venugita, in Canto 21st chapter, 7th shloka. They say that Akshanvatam phalamidam naparam vidamaha. There is no other purpose for having eyes. Okay, the purpose of having eyes is just to see the beautiful form of Krishna, right? So those eyes that see the beautiful form of Krishna are the best eyes. That head that bows down in front of Krishna and touches the dust from Krishna's lotus feet is the best head. Sa buddhir vimalendu shankha dhavala yamadhava dhyayini. Sa buddhir. What is the best intelligence, best buddhi? Vimalendu shankha dhavala. So, Indu means moon. Vimalendu means spotless moon. Okay, moon has some spots. There's some moon in my room, you see. So it has some spots. You are unable to see in the screen, but it has some spots also. The painting is not proper. So moon has spots. Vimalendu means Vimala, no spots on the moon. Vimalendu, Shankha Dhavala. Shankha, you take a conch shell that you blow before Aarti, right? You take a conch shell that is very spotlessly white. Vimalendu Shankha Dhavala. Dhavala means white. So that buddhi is spotlessly white, very pure white, like spotless moon or spotless conscience. So when will your intelligence become spotless? Yamadhava dhyayini. If your intelligence meditates on Madhava, meditates on Lord Madhava, Lord Krishna, then intelligence is said to be pure. Our intelligence may think of plan and scheme for 100 different things. But unless we come to the point of using our intelligence and mind to think of Krishna and to make plans to render service to Krishna, our intelligence is useless or material, right? Sa buddhir vimalendu shankha dhavala yamadhava dhyayini sa jihvamrita varshini pratipadam yastauti narayanam. Jihva means tongue. So the best tongue is that which is constantly showering the nectar of the description of Krishna's qualities. When we use our tongue to glorify Krishna, then that's the right utility of tongue. So, sa jihva amrita varshini pratipadam. Pratipadam, every word that we utter with our tongue should be a glorification of Krishna. Yeah, I have so many other interactions. Yeah. Either it is direct glorification of Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, or a discussion about Krishna Seva, or discussion about Vaishnava Seva. Okay, so to that degree, now for example, you are traveling, you are going to the temple. On the way, you are lost. Your GPS is also not working. You ask somebody, hey, where is that street? I need to go to the temple in that street. You ask somebody, where is Krishna's? Where is Krishna? Nothing is there. But because you are using your word to go to Krishna's temple and interacting with another person for that reason, certainly that is also Krishna conscious utility of your tongue. So basically, tongue has to be utilized in glorification of Krishna or discussion about Krishna Seva or something connected to Krishna, Vaishnavas, like that. Then that is the real Jihva. Sa Jihva Amrita Varshini, Amrita Varshini. As long as you are discussing about Krishna, your tongue is said to be raining nectar. Amrita Varshini, Pratipadam, Yastauti Narayanam. So this is how Kulashekar Alvar prays. So next shloka. So these are all very beautiful shlokas. I have not unmuted anyone to recite along. If you have a desire, you can raise your hand. We generally do that, but I'm not doing it in this forum. Next shloka. Next shloka. Jihve. Yes, Mataji. Jihve kirtaya keshavam muraripum cheto bhaja sridharam.
जिह्वे कीर्तय केशवं मुररिपुं चेतो भज श्रीधरम्
पाणिद्वन्द्वसमर्चयाच्युतकथा श्रोत्रद्वयत्वं शृणु
पाणिद्वन्द्वसमर्चयाच्युतकथा श्रोत्रद्वयत्वं शृणु
कृष्णं लोकयलोचनद्वयहरेर्गच्छाङ्घ्रियुग्मालयम्
कृष्णं लोकयलोचनद्वयहरेर्गच्छाङ्घ्रियुग्मालयम्
जिघ्रघ्राणमुकुन्दपादतुलसी मूर्धन्यमाधोक्षजम्
जिग्रग्राणमुकुन्दपादतुलसीं मूर्धन्यमाधोक्षजम्. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jihve kirtaya means use your tongue to glorify Krishna. Jihve kirtaya means glorify Krishna. Keshavam muraripum. Jihve kirtaya Keshavam. You glorify Lord Keshava with your tongue. Muraripum cheto bhaja. You think of the Lord. You worship the Lord within your mind. And that Lord is called Muraripu, one who has killed Murasur. Okay? Murasur is an associate of Narakasur. So Lord Krishna went on the back of Garuda along with Satyabhama to kill Narakasur, and on the way Murasur came with his 5 heads. Lord Krishna killed him. Since then he is called Murari or Muraripu. So Jihve kirtaya keshavam muraripum cheto bhaja sridharam. Cheto bhaja sridharam pani dvandva samarchaya. With your 2 hands, you please render service to Sridhara. Sridharam pani dvandva samarchaya. Archaya means to do archana, to worship the Lord. With your hands, you worship the Lord and you serve the Lord. Achyuta katha shrotra dvayatvam shrunu. So, with your 2 ears, you please hear Lord Achyuta. Hear the topics of Lord Achyuta. Krishnam lokayalochana harer gacchangri yugmalayam. And also, with your 2 eyes, you see the beautiful form of Lord Krishna in the temple. And Gacha Angri Yugmalayam. With your 2 legs, you walk to the temple of Lord Hari and see the Lord. So the right utility of eyes is to see the Lord. The right utility of the tongue is to glorify the Lord. The right utility of ears is to hear about the Lord. The right utility of hands is to render service to the Lord and worship the Lord. And the right utility of legs is to walk to Krishna's temple. So this is how we need to use our senses. And this is how Ambarish Maharaj also used. Savai Vanaha Krishna Padara Vindayor Vacham Sivai Kuntha Gunanuvarnani. So Ambarish Maharaj used his mind to think of the Lord, used his hands to clean the temple of the Lord. So like that he used all his senses to worship the Lord. Krishnam lokayalochana dvaya harer gacchangri yugmalayam. Jighra ghrana mukunda pada tulasi murdhanna madhokshajam. Jighra ghrana. With your nose, you please smell the tulasi leaves or tulasi buds offered to the lotus feet of Lord Mukunda. Murdhannama adhokshajam. With your head, you bow down in front of Lord Adhokshajam. So tulasi leaves emanate such sweet spiritual fragrance, especially early in the morning, and only spiritually elevated people can perceive that fragrance, can appreciate that fragrance, not everybody. Okay. So that is the speciality of the fragrance of tulasi. And when tulasi leaves are offered to Krishna's lotus feet, the natural fragrance of tulasi leaf is mixed with the natural fragrance of Krishna's body. Krishna's transcendental body also has a natural fragrance. That fragrance mixes with the fragrance of tulasi leaves, and when that fragrance enters the nostrils of a devotee, then that brings transformation in their minds. And the best examples are the four Kumaras. Four Kumaras went to Vaikuntha once, and they met the Lord. First time they saw the Lord, and the fragrance of tulasi leaves entered their nostrils. Tasyaravinda padaravinda kinjalka mishra tulasi makaranda vayu antargatah swavivarena chakara tesham sanshobhamaksharajusham apichitta tanvoham. So, tasya aravinda nayanasya padaravinda kinjalka mishra tulasi makaranda vayu. So that beautiful lotus-eyed Lord who has a lotus feet, when he gave darshan to the four Kumaras, the Kumaras were mesmerized. First time they were seeing the Lord from top to bottom. And when tulasi fragrance entered their nostrils, they have given up their mentality of being impersonalists, nannies, and they became devotees. Right? It caused a transformation in their bodies and minds completely. So that is the power of bringing our senses in contact with sense objects. So there are anxieties in this world because the conditioned souls are constantly trying to bring their senses in contact with the sense objects. Etadhiyatura chittanam matra sparshechaya muhu bhavasindhuplavo drashto harichiryanuvarnana. Etadhi atura chittanam. So the conditioned souls are constantly in anxiety because they're running behind sense gratification. That's why they are in the ocean of this material existence. How to stop this? By Harichariya. We're constantly glorifying Lord Hari. And our discussion of all these beautiful shlokas from this Mukunda Mala is just our attempt to do Harichariya Varnam, to glorify the Supreme Lord Hari. So next shloka. Someone wants to recite? Krisheva. Okay, let's try. The man is Amnaya bhasananyaranya ruditam vedavratanyarvaham.
Amnaya bhasananyaranya ruditam vedavratanyarvaham.
Medascheda falani purta vidhayaha sarvam hritam bhasmani.
Medascheda falani purta vidayaha sarvam hritam bhasmani.
Tirthanam avagahanani chakacha snanam vinayat padam.
Tirthana avagahanani chakacha snanam Inhetpada.
Dvandvam bhoruha samsmritim vijayate devasya narayana.
Dvandvam bhoruha samsmritim vijayate devasya narayana.
Thank you so much. So, Amnaya bhasananyaranya ruditam. Now, as we constantly hear, repeatedly hear, the purpose of life, or purpose of following all the rules and regulations of the scriptures is to ultimately come to the stage of remembering Krishna. Smartavya hasatatam vishnor vismartavyo najati chit. So this is the essence of all scriptures. There are so many rules and regulations in the scriptures, but the essence is to constantly remember Krishna. So without remembrance of Krishna, whatever we do is useless. That's what this shloka says. Okay, let us see. Interesting. Amnaya bhyasananyaranya ruditam. Amnaya means scriptures, recitation of scriptures, learning scriptures. Okay, our recitation of scriptures is just like aranya rodana, aranya ruditam. Somebody is just put in some forest, right? He keeps crying in wilderness. From which corner what fox will come and bite his leg, we don't know. Which tiger will just pounce on him and then suck his blood, he doesn't know. Which snake will bite him, he doesn't know. Which python will just arrest him in his coils, he doesn't know. So people were left alone in the forest, not sages, but normal people. So they cry in wilderness. So without remembrance of Krishna, if we just recite scriptures, scriptural verses, it's like Aranya Rodhana. Okay. So means scriptural study that doesn't end up in remembering Krishna is not very much appreciated. Right? First point. Second point. Vedavratanyanvaham medascheda. So Veda vratas means following so many rituals and other vratas, vows, observing them. So it's like an exercise to reduce bodily weight. When somebody follows some vratas and fasting, this and that will reduce the bodily weight. So all our vratas, without remembering Krishna, are just exercises for reducing bodily weight. You don't have to go to gym. Just follow some vratas. Okay. So that's the only benefit that one can get. Basically, the point is you perform your vratas, but remember Krishna. Do study scriptures, but remember Krishna. Understand that is the main goal of doing all these things. Then, Purta Vidhayaha Sarvam Hutam Bhasmani. So, Purta Vidhayaha means many other pious activities, duties, like offering oblations into ashes. Sorry, they are like offering oblations into ashes. So, Sarvam Hutam Bhasmani. So, when you pour pure ghee into fire with mantras and all, it is called sacrifice. If you pour pure ghee in ashes, nobody will call it sacrifice, right? It's like wasting ghee. So, without remembering Krishna, even if you follow so many pious activities, it's like pouring oblations into ashes. Tirthanam avagahanani chagaja snanam vinayat pada. Tirthanam avagahanani chagaja means one may go for pilgrimage, one may go to so many holy places and go for pilgrimage, and it's like elephant's bath if he doesn't remember Krishna. So, dvandvam bhoruha samsmritim vijayate devasa narayana. So, if without remembering the two divine lotus feet of Lord Narayana, what is the point of following so many Vedic vratas and doing so many pious activities and going to so many holy places or even studying scriptures? Please come to the point of always remembering Krishna. So that's the import of this shloka. Remembering Narayana, remembering Krishna. So that's the essence of all scriptural rules and regulations. Next shloka. Krisheva, you want to recite again? Or let's Gauranga Gunashray Prabhu, you want to recite? Nathe dhatari bhogi bhoga shayane narayane madhave.
नाथे धातरी भोगी भोग शयने नारायणि माधवे
Deve devaki nandane suravare chakrayudhe sangini.
देवे देवकी नंदने सुरावरे चक्रायुधे सरंगिनी
लीला शेष जगत प्रपंच जठरे विश्वेश्वरे श्रीधरे.
लीला शेष जगत प्रपंच जठरे विश्वास्वरे श्रीधरे
गोविंदे कुरु चित्त वृत्ति मचला अन्यस्तु किं वर्तनैः.
गोविन्दे कुरुचितवृत्तिम् अचलम् अन्यासितो किं वर्तनहि.
So in this shloka, he continues the dialogue. Nathe dhatari bhogi bhoga shayade narayane madhave. Natha, the Lord is our master, our sustainer. Dhatari is our sustainer. Bhogi bhoga shayane. He lies down on the snake bed. Ananta. Ananta is holding him. Nathe dhatari bhogi bhoga shayane. He is Narayana. He is Madhava. Deve devaki nandane suravare. He is also Deva, the Supreme Lord. And Devaki Nandane, he also appeared as the son of Mother Devaki. Suravare, he is the hero of all the Devatas, Suras. Chakrayudhe Sangini. He also holds Chakrayudha, means this disc weapon, Sudarshan Chakra. Sangini means he also holds a bow in his hands. Leela Sesha Jagat Prapancha Jathare Vishweshware Sridhare. Leela Ashesha Jagat Prapancha Jathare. So he performs unlimited pastimes and he keeps all the Jagats, all the Brahmandas within his belly. So all the universes come out of his bodily pores, right? Leela Ashesha Jagat Prapancha Jathare Vishweshware Sridhare. So that Sridhara Lord has displayed in his form of Krishna, he has displayed all the universes within his belly to Mother Yashoda, right? And in his form as Mahavishnu, he emanates millions of universes. And in his form as Garbhodakasaya Vishnu, he enters each and every universe and he manifests all the planetary systems in the universe through a lotus that sprouts from his navel. So this is the glory of the Lord. So Leela Sesha Jagat Prapancha Jathare Vishweshware Sridhare Govinde Kuru Chitta Vritti Machalam Anyaistu Kimvartani. Oh Govinda, oh protector of cows, please allow me to always think of you. What is the use of thinking of 100 different things? Let me always think of you, my dear Lord. So, for us to remember the Lord always, we need the blessings of the Lord. We need to pray. We need to beg the Lord to bestow that remembrance upon all of us. Okay. So we will be able to remember the Lord by His mercy. So that's another thing. This is a longer shloka. I think I'll just recite this shloka and tomorrow we'll discuss the shloka. Fine. It's already 8:28. I have only 1 or 2 minutes. Madraksham kshena punyan kshanamapi bhavato bhaktihi nan padabje ma srausham shravya bandham tava charitamapasyanadakhyan jatam ma smarsham madhavatvam api bhuvanapate cetasa pahnuvana ma bhuvam tvatsaparya Vyatikara-rahito janma janmantarepi. We will discuss the meaning of this shloka tomorrow. Suspense. Okay. I am not revealing the meaning right now. Tomorrow we will discuss. Thank you so much. Last 1 hour we have discussed quite a few shlokas, at least 10 shlokas from the Mukunda Stotra. And many more beautiful, sweet, nectarian shlokas are there in the second half of the book. So I just selected a few of them. Thank you very much for your patient participation. Hare Krishna. Shri Mukunda Stotra ki jai. Kulashekar Alvar ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for absorbing all of us in this wonderful recitation of Mukunda Stotra, the last 1 hour. We really aspire to capture the mood of the author of this Mukunda Stotra and such beautifully composed verses, Prabhu. Very, very fortunate to hear these verses and their explanations from your lotus mouth. We look forward to part 2 tomorrow morning again at 10 a.m. India time. Thank you once again, Prabhuji.